Hi friend, I'm Crispy Hansen with Date Night ZBC, and this is To Catch a FillyFiddler. Before I say anything, I wish to give a trigger warning for those affected by topics such as pedophilia, grooming, and racism. A number of months ago I made a video on a man known as Brandon Hackworth, or more commonly known on the internet as Brandon the Brony Pony. In that video I watched an episode of his series entitled Ponies on Earth. I praised Brandon to high hell and back for his skills in creativity, editing, and storytelling, and not letting the toxic world of cringe culture drag him into the fiery pits of hellfire where he would become a laughingstock for the rest of his life. However, a mere hour after posting my video, the Twitter account Brony Struggle posted a screenshot of a thumbnail for a video he made, and the responses were anything but the usual for an account and topic such as cringe in this fandom. People were speaking out about their experiences with Brandon, claiming that he was a racist, claiming that he was a bit weird with minors, and there's actual evidence to back these claims up. Somebody known under the name Webcake, a voice actress and just general talent here on YouTube, posted screenshots of a conversation that supposedly took place about 3 years ago, where Brandon laid out all of his cards in his beliefs on race. He stated that he would not date a woman of color because people are trying to eradicate the white race, and that he wants a purely white child for the reason of maintaining the white race. Total bullshit. This fellow here, GojiPie01, posted a screen cap of Brandon saying some real fuck shit to Goji's now ex-girlfriend. He then got in touch with me asking if he could DM me some context, and the context behind this screenshot here is that Goji's ex-girlfriend in the Discord server at that time had changed her name in the server to Buttcrack as a gag, as an inside joke, as a little ha butt crack, and then Brandon said this L plus ratio because he was down bad, like real bad. Kevin the Brody fan here tweeted that Brandon had tried to erotic roleplay with other minors in his server, and then there was another guy named NinxMoonVA who posted a 10-page whole thing of screenshots from a Discord chat log after Brandon was banned from a Discord server for posting an NSFW animation in a server full of children. Among these were many more responses following the same sort of pattern of Brandon being, to put it very lightly, a criminally sussy barker. He deleted his Twitter, he renamed his YouTube channel to the Brony Pony Brothers as a collaborative effort between him and his VFX editor Zach, as opposed to wipe the slate clean while still keeping his sub count, which is pretty shit. A good friend of mine, Ryan on Wi-Fi, made a video about Brandon where he went through a DeviantArt DM given to him by an at the time 15-year-old victim. And to clarify, in his video it is an active screen recording. He scrolls through the messages. You can hear his mouse wheel click and he just drags it, and the speed is at the same, you know what I mean? It's there, okay? It's there, and it's a real DM conversation in real time being scrolled down. However, for me, I don't have access to that account. I can't do the same thing. So I'm just going to take screenshots with permission from his video and put them toward you and give you a very quick rundown. I will put Ryan's channel and the video he made about Brandon in the description below. I highly recommend his work. He's a great guy. He's doing the best he can. And he deserves far more love than he's receiving right now. This video is going to be a quick rundown and all that to what Brandon has done in the conversation, his response, and the arguments and flaws in his defenses. I'm Crispy Hansen. This is To Catch a FillyFiddler. Brandon was doing a casting call for one of his videos and he needed a Starlight Glimmer voice actress. The 15-year-old victim hopped into a DM with him claiming that they were able to make a great Starlight impression, and he responded very jovially. He then learnt of the victim's age and then literally in the next message asked if they were willing to do NSFW material for him. The victim responds saying that being friends is totally fine, and then continues to kind of ask about what the hell Brandon just said about NSFW shit. Brandon dodges the fucking question. He goes on a strange paragraph tangent talking about how Starlight Glimmer is his ultimate waifu and nothing will ever bring them apart, and that the victim is free to call him a dork anytime they like, which actually ties in to a separate account Brandon made, I guess to chat with himself as Starlight Glimmer, because in the description there it says Brandon is my dork. So it ties in, okay? It ties in. The victim responds and appears to be very unsettled by this, actually asking if this truly was for YouTube and not just a weird personal fetish play under the guise of going onto YouTube. Brandon then responds with the classic making you feel special grooming tactic, claiming that the best Starlight Glimmer impression will get to be his unpaid VA for the entire series. That's right, Brandon was going to pay this child an exposure. They had a Discord call. The victim suddenly left the call, claiming to be uncomfortable with the NSFW topics being brought up in that conversation. They then try to negotiate, asking if instead an editing position is available, but Brandon stands his ground, stating that there is no editing slot open for his videos. The victim rejoins the call, does the impression, and it seems that Brandon, if you ask me, was a bit overly satisfied. He then offers to send the victim his spare Blue Yeti microphone Snowball, which he did, and the victim received, and this is where it goes from sussy, you could see how it is, to just hit the ground running, holy shit, this guy's actually kind of a creep. Like, this is bad, and I'm going to give you another warning. If you are sensitive to any type of discussion that revolves around these topics, please, I implore you to click that big red X up there, or to close a tab, click the YouTube homepage, look at the recommended, listen to Shiny's Ring Ding Dong, I don't care what you have to do, just if you're uncomfortable, please. I don't blame you. I'm going to give you 5 seconds if you wish to click away. An unknown amount of time later transpires. Brandon sends the victim out of nowhere a photo of him shirtless. It's actually the raw photo of this edit. Wow! The victim is clearly confused and disturbed, but Brandon says it's okay, the images of me and Starlight having an intimate moment. Apparently in the raw image he was holding a dildo, or at least there was a dildo in the shot. The victim stands their ground and compromises by saying, I'm not gonna have the dildo anywhere near Starlight's butthole. Go fuck yourself, I'll just do an edit of, Starlight in your arm, good shit. The victim finishes the edit, sends him what ended up becoming the final released picture. But at the time, Brandon committed another one of the 7 deadly sins, gluttony, requesting that the, let me remind you, 15-year-old victim edit Sunset Shimmer sucking on his toes, and to give him a Twilight Sparkle nipple pasty, whatever you call those things. The victim is clearly in discomfort from all of this, and finally gets the courage to say, this is fucked, I'm Audi 5000. Brandon misses the hint entirely, and straight up asks this 15-year-old if they like him romantically or not. The victim at this point has had a fucking enough of this prat, and just lays everything out on the table, stating that they've been friends for months at this point, but Brandon can't seem to keep his wacky, wavy, inflatable tube in his pants. The victim states they feel like they've been taken advantage of due to their autism. Brandon refutes this by saying simply, I didn't know you had autism. He then asks if this means they can't meet up at BabsCon that year, something that, as far as I'm aware, he's still planning on going to, given that this is a video that exists announcing that he will be going there. Brandon then plays the disgruntled lover card, saying, oh, I already sent you my microphone, what more could you want? You're tearing me apart, Lisa. As if it's the victim who's pulling his ring ding dong, ring ding dong. The victim responds saying that he feels that Brandon is just too far in his own head, because he's treating and acting like he genuinely believes the victim to be a personified Starlight Glimmer. The kid was wanting to get involved in a project that he admired, and Brandon used his influence and star power over this child to get them to do sexual things for his own fucking urges. The victim then reveals he's a boy, to the shock of Brandon, who I suppose in his mind, judging on his reaction, homosexuality in his head is far worse than wanting to diddle kids. He begs for this to never be leaked, it would ruin his reputation. At this point he's already gone through one controversy and just barely escaped. This would ruin him. The victim responds perfectly, stating that this is too funny not to share. Brandon snaps and threatens the teenager, saying that because he sent the Blue Yeti Snowball, he knows the address, and he will dox them if it ever comes out, along with some fear tactics and hypotheticals about him being a popular pony tuber, and that no one will know of the victim, but everyone will remember his name, Brandon Hackwiff. And by God, was he right? Just not in the way that I think he wanted. Everyone knows your name now, Brandon Hackwiff. So to summarize the entire scenario here, Brandon Hackwiff, a at the time 22-year-old man, consistently asked and prodded sexual situations and requests onto a 15-year-old individual. He wanted to meet this minor at BabsCon, and I'm pretty sure we all know what he would have attempted there. And as proven by the tweets I showed earlier, this wasn't the only instance of him being a fucking weirdo around minors. Brandon is also a proven white supremacist. He's picky about the color of somebody's flesh, but whether or not that flesh is able to consent. When everything came tumbling down on top of him, when he had seen Ryan's video, he pulled a tactic I haven't seen in a few years, which is flat out denial in the face of irrefutable evidence. He states repeatedly in this video titled Dispelling the Pedophile Rumors.
That is not true. I would never do that because they're not true. I have not done anything inappropriate with underage girls, and I would never do that. I would never date an underage girl ever. They are not true. I repeat, they are not true. Not believe any of those fake rumors. I'm being 100% honest with you when I say that. They are not true.
Which, Brandon, if you are being dead honest, you wouldn't have to say that multiple times. You'd say it maybe once and then continue with your video. If you say it 12 times in a 2-minute time span, it sounds less like you're actually being truthful and more like you're trying to delude yourself and your audience into believing that to be the case. And then in this video where he attempts to debunk the claims, he says these lines here.
And, yeah, that's not me, okay? This is a fake account.
Which is bullshit. If you search on DeviantArt right now, Brandon the Brony Pony, the only results that come up are the account linked with his YouTube channel, a Starlight Glimmer roleplay account I mentioned just previously, to chat with himself, I guess, along with another account in the same vein but this time as Sunset Shimmer. Also, this fucking video of Ryan on Wi-Fi, my good friend who blew this wide open, scrolling through the messages and then clicking directly on your profile. This is you, Brandon. This is you. You did this, you disingenuous, dense motherfucker. Like, just stop denying it. Stop, like, you idiot.
I sent someone a blue snowball mic? No, I sent nobody a blue snowball mic. I didn't even have the money for that. My friend Zach sent me one out of the kindness of his heart.
Which lines up with precisely what the chat log says. You say in the chat log, you have a spare ready to send.
No November chats, and you can't, well, you can delete chats, but I didn't delete any chats.
You got overconfident. You let the adrenaline rush to your head. And you stumbled.
How could there only be one chat when in August 8th, I had multiple chats before that?
If you look, Brandon, you'll see that Ryan got permission from the minor to use their account to show the chats, because this screen shows the accounts receiving messages from you. When those two videos failed and burned harder than my tongue on the pizza I had for dinner tonight, he uploaded a video simply titled, I didn't do it. Well, he actually uploaded it twice because the first one didn't have audio, so he refilmed it, same obnoxious fake crying, and ran with that instead. And before anyone comes at me, do you want to know how clearly fake this is? Listen and look at this clip specifically. He goes from hysterics, absolute hysterics, to talking very calmly about how his last attempt didn't have audio.
I had to repost this because the first video didn't have sound.
The craziest part about this whole thing? His fans eat it up, even while looking at evidence in action moving on screen in accordance to Ryan's clicks and scrolls. They still kiss the ground he walks on, which for you, Brandon, if they're minors, I think you find that much more appreciable. To think I was like this fucking close to working with this slime ball. I'm so fucking pleased I missed a bullet the size of my fucking 5 head, but I can't help but feel so upset for people who couldn't avoid that bullet. In the description is a list of charities that help victims of sexual abuse heal moving forward. Underneath that list is a list of phone numbers you can call if you or someone you know is in a situation similar to the victim had with Brandon. And then underneath that is a hashtag that we will use to tweet at BabsCon to get him permanently banned so that this cannot happen again. Which, knowing Brandon, if he is not banned from this convention, it probably will again. Spread the word about this fuck. Like really, I feel so bad for anyone who's ever come into contact with Brandon in a negative context. You know, this is fucked. And I hope that all of you who've had that are healing well. That's it. I just wanted to touch on this, because I made a video fucking praising this asshole, and now this has happened, along with many other things, and I just want to talk about it. I'll see you next week with a hopefully good video, a bit more lighter. And that's it. See ya.